The first career win for Jarrett Stidham and a season sweep of the Chargers as the Broncos get the victory 16-9 on New Year's Eve. Hello, and thank you for joining us here on the Broncos Postgame Show. Happy New Year's. I am Phil Milani alongside Nick Ferguson. You look like you're ready to go, man. New Year's Eve.
Hey, it's New Year's Eve. I'm ready to party, baby. Let's do it.
The Broncos get a 16-9 victory, Nick, over the Chargers. Eliminated from the playoffs because of what happened elsewhere, but that shouldn't take away from the victory they had today.
No, it shouldn't take away from the victory. I know it's been a crazy week for everyone involved, but anytime that you can win on your home field, it's great. And 8 wins. I think the last time the Broncos had 8 wins, I think of the year was 2016, the last time that happened. So to be able to celebrate that, you have to look at that and say, well, that is a way of turning the page, putting 2023 behind us and moving forward to 2024. So it's not what the team wanted, not what anyone in Broncos country wanted as far as getting to the playoffs, but there's still much to celebrate.
Yeah, and obviously we got to talk about Jarrett Stidham's performance, just his 3rd career start. We'll get into that a little bit later, but first, let's check out the highlights from Empower Field at Mile High. Stidham's first start in a Broncos uniform. No Cortland Sutton today or Marvin Mims Jr., but Nick, that was no problem because they still had L.J. Humphrey in the second quarter. 54 yards and maybe a million broken tackles here. Just his 3rd touchdown of the season, but that was a doozy. Go gadget arm stretching into the end zone there, and the Broncos take an early lead. The Chargers were looking for some sort of spark. They try a fake punt. That does not work on rookie Drew Sanders. You love seeing young guys like Drew make plays out there. The defense really solid all day long, but it was just a 7-point game in the 4th. Josey Jewell right there for his 3rd fumble recovery of the year. On the ensuing drive, Stiddy looking deep for Jerry Jeudy on 4th down. They get the pass interference call. That led to a field goal, and it all came down to this onside kick. The Chargers need to get it back for a chance. It goes right through Michael Bandy's hands. He can't hold on, but Alex Singleton secures it and secures the win, 16-9. The final. Let's go field level and check in with our reporters, Sydney Jones and Aric DiLalla.
Thanks, Phil. Head coach Sean Payton said following the game that he was impressed with Jarrett Stidham's performance tonight, said he was poised in the pocket, calm and collected. Aric, overall, what were your thoughts on his performance?
Yeah, it wasn't spectacular. It wasn't super flashy or anything like that, but I think he made the plays he needed to make. There were a couple of times where on 3rd down, he did a really nice job, able to find guys in rhythm, in stride. I think as the game went on, he got more comfortable. A couple throws early I'm sure he'd like to have back, but didn't turn the ball over, which is really important, obviously. Sean Payton highlighted that all this week of kind of part of the reason why the Broncos have been looking for a boost on offense, but able to step up in the pocket, hit Lil Jordan Humphrey for the play of the game, arguably, and then there were several other times, finds Jerry Jeudy right before halftime, don't get any points there, but I think that was a good illustration of the type of play Jarrett Stidham made. Sacked a couple of times, but I think for the most part, for his first start in a year, it was really impressive.
Yeah, and Aric, for this defense, didn't allow a touchdown tonight, won the turnover battle. What did you just think about their performance here?
Yeah, I think at one point, Sid, it got up to like 20 consecutive 3rd downs from this Chargers offense against Denver that they weren't able to convert. Got a few late, but they made plays. They kept themselves in good positions ahead of the sticks, put them in 3rd and long situations, flustered Easton Stick, and then at the start of the 4th quarter, they get that takeaway that you really need, and the Broncos now 8-1 when they win the turnover battle, and that was a big moment in this game. Helped you push the lead a little bit further, and this defense continues to respond, I think.
We'll appreciate your thoughts, Aric. Phil, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you very much, guys. Back here at the desk, Phil Milani alongside Nick Ferguson. Nick, let's dive into Jarrett Stidham, his performance against the Chargers. Just his 3rd career start. What'd you think?
Well, it was kind of a rocky start, but we all anticipated that for a guy who has been a career backup in this league. And I don't know about you, Phil, I was wondering what this game plan was going to look like. Sean Payton put a game plan that fitted Jarrett Stidham's skill set. They ran the ball more so than we've seen successfully over these past couple of weeks. But the biggest thing for me was being able to get the ball to Jaleel McLaughlin out there on the outside and perimeter, and Jaleel McLaughlin actually rewarded the team and Jarrett Stidham. So it wasn't one of these kind of performances that you feel would jump off of the page, but it was something that where you say, okay, well, here's enough for a guy in the status of Jarrett Stidham, but big game next week against the Raiders, a team that he played for. So there are some pros and cons to this particular performance, and it's going to push the Broncos moving forward to figure out who's going to be their quarterback of the future.
Yeah, of course. Another big game coming up against the Raiders. Stidham, 20 of 32, 224 yards and a touchdown. His numbers eerily similar to how Russell Wilson played a couple weeks ago against the Chargers, so take that for what you will. But, Nick, you mentioned the running game. Jaleel McLaughlin, 44 yards out there. Javonte Williams, 41 yards. The Broncos altogether ran for 101 yards. What do you think about that performance? It seemed like they were very committed to running the football.
Yeah, probably more committed to running the ball in this particular game than we've seen them in weeks past. And the guy who got the bulk of the carries, well, believe it or not, was Jaleel McLaughlin. We heard so much about, giving the ball to Javonte and Samaje Perine, but those guys were not the bell cow. The bell cow was the speedy of the threesome, and that was Jaleel McLaughlin. And that told you, this guy has a lot of ability, and it makes you wonder, why wasn't he utilized more in the season? But it tells you, when you put the ball in his hands, big things happen in a small body.
Yeah, it kind of seems like it depends on what the matchup looks like. Hey, if speed on the outside is the advantage, you can use him. If you need that power, you got Samaje Perine, Javonte Williams. Javonte had that one crazy run where he broke a million tackles in this one. So the offense, not an explosion of points, but overall, they didn't beat themselves.
No, they did. And here's what I want to say. For those individuals who were criticizing Javonte Williams, the run that you just talked about, that is the staple of what he can do and who he is as a runner. So this guy, Javonte Williams, is still a power back, but he doesn't have the speed like Jaleel. But if you put him one-on-one, you get him on an outside, he can make defenses pay based on what he can do and how he runs the ball.
Yeah, that was a tremendous run. And, I thought it was noteworthy just that earlier in the week, Sean Payton said sometimes you beat yourself, you lose some games. The Broncos did not do that against the Chargers, and they get the 16-9 victory. Let's hear from the head coach and also Jarrett Stidham after the game.
I thought he was good. I thought he was collected, calm. I thought he played with real good poise. You felt experience relative to a guy who hadn't had as many, minutes maybe as some others, but you certainly didn't feel that during the course of the game. I thought he was efficient in and out of the huddle. I thought he made some good throws for us overall until I see the tape, but I thought it went pretty good. I mean, it's great. Once I got back to my locker, I texted my wife, just what a cool feeling it is to get, my first NFL win. So, but with that, it's not about me. It's not about a first win. It's about the team getting the 8th win of the year, and couldn't be more proud of the guys. In the locker room, we thought we played. Definitely thought we left some points out there, but defense played phenomenal as usual. Special teams played great. Offensively, we just got to find a way, especially in the red zone, to put the ball in a little bit more. So
the defense, another outstanding job. Gave up just 3 field goals. Did not let the Chargers into the end zone. Nick, what do you think about the way that side of the ball played?
I think the defense, after taking a lot of hits across the chin, they actually bounced back. I mean, we saw the defense that we saw that showed up against the Bills and showed up against Kansas City, and we were wondering where was this defense. They did show up today. A couple of missed opportunities where they had opportunities to turn the ball over and put the offense on the short field, but overall, they did a hell of a job. When you think about double-digit tackles, every single year we're talking about double-digit tackles, and there's only one name that comes up, Alex Singleton. I mean, that guy is everywhere, and I know people are saying, well, the Broncos need new linebackers. Look, when you look at Alex Singleton, a guy who can run sideline to sideline, and today he found himself in some advantageous position. So the Broncos did not get enough pressure on the quarterback, but they did play well as an overall defense, keeping the Chargers out of the end zone.
Yeah, you knew that maybe they'd have an opportunity to have a big game going up against the Easton Stick. The Chargers going through a lot of changes here, and they certainly delivered with the performance today. Got the one takeaway too, Josie Jewell. Both those inside linebackers really playing with a lot of passion. Let's go into a celebratory locker room here and check in with Sydney Jones.
Thanks, Phil. We're inside the locker room here with outside linebacker Jonathan Cooper. Coop, final home game of the season here. You guys get the win. What did that mean for you?
It meant everything for us, especially after last week and the way how disappointing it was to lose. It was important for us to come back and win. I feel like it's been important for us to win at home, and the fact that we got that done with the last home game, it's awesome.
Defense won the turnover battle. I mean, you guys didn't allow a touchdown. Overall, what did you just think about the defense's performance tonight?
Just super proud of our guys. Super proud of everybody. They all stepped up. Everybody's been playing well all season and stuff, and it's just the next step to show that we are a legit defense, and we're going to continue to get better. Yeah, just guys like stepping up, and I mean, seeing the way PJ played today, it's super inspiring. You know, having a guy step up like that after, obviously, our guy Kareem Jackson and stuff is just. It's just awesome to see. It's just awesome to see everybody stepping up. We're all coming together, I feel like, more as a defense and just as a brotherhood, and I just couldn't be prouder.
Coop, you know, games didn't go the Broncos' way around the league today as you guys have been officially eliminated from the playoffs, but you got this 8th win. I mean, how do you take this as momentum heading into the offseason and next year?
It's important for us to get this next win. I feel like we're all focused on Vegas right now, even though it's a bittersweet feeling knowing that we got eliminated. That doesn't say for us to like slow down in any sort of way. It only tells us like we have to finish the season strong, like you said, so we can set up the next offseason and the OTAs and what this Denver team is supposed to be, which is a playoff team. And yeah, it's important for us to finish strong.
Coop, really appreciate your time. Congrats on the win.
Thank you, Sydney.
Phil, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you very much, Sydney. We're back here at the desk. Time to wrap up the post-game show here. We got to talk about this performance from Jarrett Stidham and what that means going forward here with just one game to go.
Well, what it means forward, meaning as though Jarrett is going to face his old team and the Las Vegas Raiders, and you hope that it's going to be a better performance, especially with another full week of work with these wide receivers. And look, LaJordan Humphrey was his target of choice. Will that continue? We don't know, but it should aid when Courtland Sutton comes back and giving them an arsenal of wide receivers to hopefully go out and get their 9th win of the season. And that's where this team is at this particular point. The goal was getting to the playoffs. They lost some games early in the season, and now it's about finishing the season strong in 2024. You could do that on the road against a team that you've lost to over the past 2 years because you face the Raiders at the end of the season. What better way to start off 2024 than actually going on the road and beating the Raiders on their home field? That is an excellent victory for 2024.
Yeah, this seems like this has been the year of snapping some of these streaks. The Raiders would be next up on that, but they won primetime games this year. They beat the Chiefs, obviously, so let's see if they can add the Raiders to that mix. But a kind of crazy day here, Nick, where 4 or 5 results had to go against the Broncos elsewhere in the league today, and each one of them happened.
Yeah, that's kind of like the disappointing thing about the season. We can't go back as much as we want to and say, well, if the Broncos won this game or this outcome would have been a lot different, the Broncos would have gotten in. The outcomes are what the outcomes are. All you have to do is show that you have the ability to get better next week. And a lot of guys who didn't play this game, they may see an opportunity to play as a team tries to figure out what is this roster going to look like in 2024. Obviously, there are going to be some guys coming back. There's going to be some guys not on the team. Right now, this starts that new era. Now it is time for the team to continue to climb to make sure that next year they're in the playoffs instead of saying we missed the playoffs. That's the overall goal.
Yep, and Jarrett Stidham obviously wants to show that he could be the guy moving forward, so another opportunity for him next week, like Nick said, against his former team. But for today, it's a 16-9 victory over the LA Chargers, a season sweep there, so the Broncos ringing in the new year, able to celebrate a little bit. That's going to do it for us. For Nick Ferguson, I am Phil Milani. Happy New Year to all of you out there. This has been the Broncos Postgame Show.